I now recognize Rep. Moskowitz.
Madam Chair, thanks for recognizing me today. I came today to talk about this committee's draft bill, the FEMA Act of 2025. And I want to thank the chairman and the ranking member for working on this. Before I get there, I just wanted to give a little bit of my background. I'm the only former emergency management director that was elected to Congress, and I was the emergency management director in Florida for a Republican governor. I took my Democratic hat off for 2.5 years and joined the DeSantis administration and ran that department and was solely in charge of the COVID response in the state of Florida. Before that, I worked on the recovery from Hurricane Michael, which was in the Panhandle. And it was President Trump and the Trump administration who gave Florida the resources it needed so that the people of the Panhandle could recover. And without those resources from FEMA that President Trump approved and the administration gave to Florida, the Panhandle would not have recovered and would not be what it is today. I want to talk about a couple issues of the FEMA Act of 2025. First of all, it includes the FEMA Independence Act that I filed with Byron Donald, which I support, which is to get FEMA out of Homeland Security. President Trump is right that FEMA needs reform. Let me say that again. President Trump is right that FEMA needs reform. We've known that in the emergency management industry for some time. One of those pieces of reform is it's got to get out of Homeland. Homeland is too big, it's too bureaucratic, and they have FEMA running all of the grants for all of the agencies doing immigration stuff that they shouldn't be doing, and FEMA has gotten away from its core mission as a result of focusing on response and recovery. The second is we can block grant some of this money, and I have that bill with Tim Burchett in the House. And some of that is in the FEMA Act of 2025. We can give states more responsibility. We can send money down. States can do that. But I also came to issue a warning. I am deeply concerned about what Secretary Noem is doing at Homeland on FEMA. And I got to be honest, I think she's doing a disservice to the president. In the last 5 months, what she has done under her leadership with FEMA, is take FEMA, which needed reform, the president was right about that, and turn it into Newark Airport. I am worried that FEMA is going to fail this summer. If a hurricane came into Louisiana, Alabama, or Mississippi, those states will go bankrupt without FEMA aid. Right now, the Secretary has all FEMA aid paused, even ones that are under previous presidential declarations, money that Congress has appropriated. I'm worried that those states, Mississippi, Alabama, they don't have the same resources as a Florida or a Texas, even though the grants in Florida and Texas are also paused. Let me say this, Florida and Texas might be able to survive one hurricane this summer without having to cut healthcare or education or their DOT budget, but not two. If Texas or Florida got a double hit, which has happened all the time, they will have to raid their DOT budget, their education budget, and their healthcare budget just to survive. FEMA also provides resources. Now, they don't own those resources. They coordinate those federal resources. Most of them are DOT resources. Without FEMA's ability to do that, states that don't have those resources, like the states I said, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, something comes in from the Gulf of America, it's going to be very tough for those states to respond. What about Tornado Alley? Those states don't have it. Kentucky, Oklahoma, they go bankrupt. And we've not had an earthquake since the 90s, thank goodness. But I can tell you right now, FEMA will fail based on what the Secretary has done to that department. And so the president is right. FEMA does need reform. I know this committee is working on that. I want to work with the committee and the chairman on FEMA reform. But we have to save FEMA. We can make it smaller. We can make it faster. We can do those things. But if the idea is we don't need a FEMA anymore, and that is what the Secretary has said, I can tell you the results are going to be catastrophic, and it's going to be mostly for red states based on their geographic territory and their financial ability. And so I appreciate the opportunity. I support the president creating the task force that he has created to try to come up with FEMA ideas. I look forward to them meeting. I believe those meetings are going to start soon, and we'll look forward to their recommendations and working with Congress. But with that, Madam Chairwoman, I stand ready to answer any and all questions. Thank you.
Do any of the members have any questions? If none, thank you, Rep. Moskowitz.
Thank you.